So we get the exchange Slav. I mean, basically, there was one moment where I used a lot of time, around like move 30, or not move 30, move 15, where I used like 30 minutes. Bishop d6. Right, and he didn't play bishop g5 here, which of course is the main line. Bishop g5, bishop e7, and then bishop d3. But he didn't do this. This is perhaps more challenging test, but he didn't do it. So so he played bishop d3, and then I spent a bunch of time here trying to decide whether to play e5 or not. And it was a combination of being practical, risk assessment, and just whether it made sense. Because the thing is, I can play e5 here, and there were a couple things. First of all, white can just trade everything off: d e5, knight e5, bishop e5, takes, castles, rook d1, and the game's probably going to end in a draw very, very shortly. So this was the first thing that white can do, but white also has the option to play bishop g5 instead here after e5, and after e4, it gets very sharp. There's bishop f6, gf6. I think he should probably take with the knight, although he can take with the bishop 2 on e4, either one. And after takes, queen a5, king e2, king e7. I mean, I was thinking about this perhaps, like this, maybe this, in my mind I was thinking if I did something like this, maybe this would equate to an extra 20,000 views on a YouTube video, because it's a bomb cloud with the kings in the center of the board. You can make some fancy thumbnail. I'm not going to pretend that this was not in my mind during the game, but at the end of the day, I wasn't sure if this is good or bad for me. This is the problem. Like, the thing is, he was moving pretty quickly here, so if this is actually preparation, I could just be in a lot of trouble in this position, so I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure whether it makes sense or not. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I'm thinking about a percentage of more views on the video, but on the other hand, like, if I'm wrong, I just lose the game here because it could all still be prep. But I mean,
by the way, Hikaru,
yeah.
If you're looking at the Zoom call and wondering why Hammer and I are smiling away while you're talking, it's because Hammer. I had somebody in the chat had asked about e5 while you were thinking, and Hammer, I'm sorry for exposing you, but Hammer called it the dumbest move he has ever seen.
Okay,
well, it was unnecessary to give yourself an isolated pawn, given that there are so many other ways for black to play and be okay.
But I mean, it's opposite colored bishops, though. That's the one thing. Like, it'll be a dark river slice for a bishop. But no, I understand what you're saying, though. I mean, but I couldn't decide. Like, that's why I spent so long here, because I was debating whether to play e5 or not. I wasn't sure. And ultimately, I felt like the reality is he can just trade, and it's just going to be a draw. Or if I'm wrong, and he's prepared bishop g5, I could actually just, like, lose the game out of the opening. So that's why I didn't do it, because I wasn't 100% sure. But, yeah, this was really the only moment that I think it was only moment that where it was actually where there were any real choices for me, for sure.
I want to ask a question. Did you consider queen to b6?
Not really. I mean, I saw that it existed, but I wasn't sure. Like, even if white just castles here, like I'm not sure if white should castle, but even this I wasn't sure about. Takes, knight a4, yeah, queen a3, knight c5. And just castles, probably? Yeah, I mean, maybe this is good for me, but I wasn't sure. That was the problem. I wasn't sure, and also I thought he could also just go rook b1, and then I didn't understand how I'm playing for the advantage, kind of. I mean, it's very tricky here. Like,
so you were looking for ways to play for an advantage?
I mean, I was trying to find something to keep the game going, basically. Yeah. That's what I was doing. I was trying to find a way to keep the game going, and... but this even, like, where's my play here? Because he's just going to go knight a4, knight c5 in a couple of moves, and I didn't see, I just didn't see where the play is.
Yeah,
and that's why that's why this is where I spent all my time. So I was trying to debate what to do, whether to play e5, whether to go for something else. Like, I didn't really see anything that really I felt gave me chances, and I felt like white is too solid anyway. So that's why I just decided to castle and I mean, the rest of the game I think is extremely boring. Maybe I could have put a knight on d6 or something instead, but like, I mean, but when he went queen f3, I knew that he was in the mood for a draw. Like, queen f3 is not the move you play if you're trying to play for more. When he went queen f3, queen e2, queen d2, like, already here is just a matter of, okay, we're gonna play another 10 moves, and the game's gonna be a draw somehow.
How did you feel about that the game was dead so soon after it began?
I mean, of course I was very, 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 very unhappy about the situation. So, yeah, it's what it is. Like I was hoping the game would go on, but that's just how it goes. Right.
Is there any other moment you want to discuss later?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, all this stuff is just leading to a draw. It's just very, very boring. So,